Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Simply Real English, the podcast where we help you speak English naturally and with total confidence. I'm your host, Leo.
And I'm Sarah. We are so happy to have you with us today.
Today's episode is a big one. We're talking about a skill that changes everything, not just how you speak English, but how you live your life. We're talking about confidence.
It's such an important topic, Leo, because you can know all the grammar in the world, but if you don't feel confident enough to open your mouth, you can't connect with people.
Exactly. Today, we are diving deep into how to talk to anyone with confidence. Whether you are at a party, a job interview, or just buying a coffee in an English-speaking country, we want you to feel ready.
But before we get into the how-to, we have a small request for our amazing community.
That's right. If you enjoy these long-form podcast conversations and they help you feel more comfortable with your English, please consider subscribing to the channel Simply Real English.
It's a small click for you, but it's a huge help for us. By subscribing, you're helping Simply Real English grow, which allows us to keep making these high-quality free lessons for learners all over the world.
And don't forget to tap that notification bell icon. We upload these deep dive conversations regularly, and we want to make sure you never miss a chance to practice your listening.
Yes, we want to be in your ears every week helping you improve. Okay, Leo, are you ready to dive in?
I'm ready. Let's do it. So, Sarah, let's start with a confession. Even though we talk for a living, do you still get that nervous feeling?
Oh, all the time, Leo. Especially if I walk into a room where I don't know anyone. I think we all have that little voice in our head saying, what if I say something boring? Or what if they don't like me?
I have that voice too. And for our listeners learning English, they have an extra voice saying, "What if my English isn't good enough?"
Right. But here's the thing we've both learned. Confidence isn't a gift you are born with. It's a muscle you build.
I love that. And the first way to build that muscle is to stop obsessing over ourselves. When we are nervous, we are thinking, how do I look? How is my English?
You're so right. The secret is to turn the spotlight away from yourself and onto the other person. If you are focused on making them feel comfortable, your own nerves usually disappear.
It's a total mindset shift. It's not a performance where people are giving you a grade. It's just a connection between two humans. Okay, so I have the right mindset. Now I'm standing in a room with a stranger. What is the first thing I actually say?
This is where people get stuck. They try to think of a cool or smart opening line. People always ask us, what is the perfect opening line?
And we always tell them, there is no perfect line. In fact, the most boring lines are often the best because they are easy to answer.
Exactly. We often use the environment technique. We just notice something in the room. For example, if we're both waiting for a bus, I might say, the weather changed so quickly today, didn't it?
It sounds so simple, but it works. It's an icebreaker. You are just testing the water. If the person smiles and answers, the ice is broken.
And then we can move into open-ended questions. This is something we both do in every interview, Leo.
Yes. Instead of asking, "Did you have a good weekend?" which is a yes or no question, we ask, "What was the best part of your weekend?"
It's such a small change, but it makes the conversation flow so much better because it gives the other person a chance to tell a story.
You know what else works wonders, Sarah? A simple, genuine compliment.
Oh, I love that. Everyone likes to feel noticed, but it has to be real, right?
Exactly. If you see someone with a cool laptop sticker or a nice watch, you can say, "That's a really cool watch. Where did you get it?"
That is a double win. You make them feel good and you ask an open ended question at the same time.
And it works in any environment. At the office, you could say, "I really liked your presentation today. You made it look so easy."
That's a great one. It opens the door for them to talk about their work or their process. It takes the fear out of the room immediately.
And Sarah, I've noticed that when I'm nervous, I talk very fast. I'm sometimes so worried about the silence that I just keep talking.
That's a common reaction. But real confidence actually involves a lot of silence. You need to be attentive.
Now, here is something we both agree on. To be a great talker, you actually have to be a great listener.
100%. People love to talk about themselves. If you are attentive and really listen, people will think you are a fantastic conversationalist, even if you don't say much.
It's true. We use things like eye contact and active listening sounds. Just a simple, "Wow," or "That's amazing," shows the other person you are with them.
And don't be afraid of the silence either. Sometimes we feel we have to fill every second with noise. But a confident person is okay with a few seconds of quiet while they think.
That's a great point. It shows you are being thoughtful, not just rushing to speak. Sarah, let's talk about the oops moments. I'm talking, I'm confident, and suddenly I say something totally wrong. Or I forget the word for refrigerator. It feels so awkward.
Here's a tip: laugh. If you forget a word, just say, "Oh, my brain just stopped. What is that thing? The cold box we use to keep food fresh."
That actually makes the other person like you more, doesn't it?
It does. Think of it like this. If you were talking to a tourist in your home country and they made a small mistake in your language, would you laugh at them?
No, of course not. I'd just be happy they were trying to talk to me.
Exactly. Most people are kind. It's called being vulnerable. People trust people who aren't perfect. If you stop obsessing over every mistake, you'll find that your English actually flows much better.
So, mistakes are just growing pains.
Exactly. You can't learn to ride a bike without falling, and you can't learn to speak confidently without a few awkward silences.
This has been such a helpful talk. To wrap up, Sarah, how do we leave the conversation?
Always end with grace. You don't need a big excuse. Just say, "It's been a pleasure meeting you. I'm going to go say hi to a colleague now. Hope you have a great rest of your day."
I love that. It's polite and clear.
Simple and sweet, it leaves a good impression.
Exactly. You want people to remember how you made them feel, not just the words you used. This has been such a great chat, Sarah. I think we've given our audience some real tools today.
I hope so.
Let's summarize for our friends at home. 1. Use your environment to start. 2. Ask open-ended questions. 3. Use active listening and eye contact. 4. Don't worry about mistakes. Be vulnerable. 5. End with grace.
But tools are only good if you use them. So, we have a challenge for everyone listening.
Yes! This week, we want you to try the environment technique. Whether you're at work, at school, or at a shop, try to say one simple thing to a stranger about what is happening around you.
Just one sentence. And then, come back to this video and tell us in the comments how it went. We want to hear about your wins and even your awkward moments, because that's how we learn.
We can't wait to read your stories. Now, stay with us for a few more minutes as we break down some of the power words we used in this conversation.
Let's do it.
Okay, Sarah, let's look at the vocabulary. We used the word intimidating at the start. How would you describe that to our B1 friends?
I'd say it's when something feels a bit scary because it seems too big or too hard. Like, the idea of this podcast was intimidating at first, but now it's fun.
Perfect. And then we mentioned the environment.
That's just the area or space around you. Example, you can always find something to talk about if you look at your environment.
We also used attentive. I think that's a beautiful word for listening.
It is. It means you are giving your full attention. Example, she is a very attentive friend. She remembers everything I tell her.
Now, what about awkward? We use that one to describe those oops moments.
Yes, it's that uncomfortable, I want to hide feeling. Example, there was an awkward moment when I forgot my boss's name.
And if you keep thinking about that moment for the next week, you are obsessing.
Exactly. To obsess is to think about something too much in a way that isn't helpful. Example, stop obsessing over your accent. Your English is great.
We also talked about being vulnerable.
That's when you are brave enough to be yourself, even if you aren't perfect. Example, being vulnerable by admitting you're nervous can actually make people like you more.
And finally, our favorite word for the day, grace.
Grace. It means being polite and calm. Example, even when he made a mistake, he handled it with grace.
Sarah, it's been a pleasure sharing these tips with you today.
Same here, Leo. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Before you go, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Keep practicing and keep connecting.
See you in the next one.